advertised this one much ahead of time, but my stream on Wednesday got cut off when I was in the middle of saying something, and I felt that it was an important part of the stream which didn't make it to the recording, so I figured I'd come on here and see what's going on. That being said, quick disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional. Nothing I say is intended as medical advice. Any major changes in your diet or any other aspects of your lifestyle, so you need to check with a doctor with before enacting your own life. All opinions are my own. Nothing is affiliated with Google or YouTube. And I'm a law-abiding citizen. Nothing I say is an admission of guilt. That being said, back to the basics, you guys. So, I've kind of decided I don't want to be a spiritual teacher. But we have gotten pretty far with this whole thing. And by the way, thank you for being our first person here, Jennifer. But, you know, the cat's kind of out of the bag. And so, you know, a lot of stuff that I've said is out there, and it's, you know, in some cases, help people decide to take the plunge into spirituality and all this, that, and the other. And that's great. It's really good. But everybody wants to, and I don't mean like everybody, but in general, this is, I'm not just talking about people here, people in spirituality, I mean all people in the world. Everybody wants to you know, they want to just skip straight to the success. Nobody really wants to put in the work. Nobody, you know, people see me doing this thing. You guys see just a tiny little glimpse of my life, of what actually, is the audio really bad? Well, let me see if I can cut my hands over it or something. Is the audio bad? Because I don't even want to waste my energy on this if it's not going to be heard properly. We are up here. That's where we at. It's bad. Okay, fuck. Let me see if I go down here, if I can walk in a little bit. One second. Climb down here. Fuck. Maybe this is my sign. Oh, now I got 35 people here. This is the moment that YouTube decides to send me some traffic. Okay, anyways, it's a little better. All right, I'm just gonna get hunched down behind this rock here and see if I can use this as a wind barrier. Okay, Sam, please, buddy, you're not making this easier. Okay, here we are. We're in the cove now. This is our streaming location for the day. Hey, my pal. I don't know if it's a national park. It's probably more like a state park. I don't really know. It's in California. So anyways, I got cut off during my stream on Wednesday. I actually didn't realize that the connection had dropped, and I was talking, and I was on a whole long rant about very important issue, and then I went and watched the recording and realized that none of it even made it to the recording. So I wanted to come back and touch base on something that I think is really important. Now, as I was saying before, you guys, I've kind of come to the conclusion, like, I'm not a guru. I'm not trying to be a spiritual teacher. Like, I wanted to share that experience because it was something new. It surprised me. I didn't really see it coming. I didn't know anything about it. And to my knowledge, I don't know of anyone that ever was able to capture that process more or less, you know, as it was happening and broadcast it live. Now, all that being said, you know, I was just basically talking about my own process and sharing it as I went. I didn't really know much throughout the whole thing comparative to what I know and understand now. And long story short is, I feel that the topics kind of progressed much faster than an actual, you know, teacher would basically bring any student through. And I gave more information than most people really needed. And so the thing is, back to the basics, you know, brought up towards the end of the stream as we left off. Somebody was asking me about depression and anxiety, all right? And as I had mentioned in the last stream, that I view those things as a construct. Well, depression as a construct and anxiety as a tool for dealing with things happening in the present, in the moment, in the now, as a, you know, survival mechanism, right? But as soon as anxiety starts to affect things, or you start attaching your emotions to things that aren't immediately affecting you, immediately in your area, things that maybe have happened in the past, things that maybe you're afraid of happening in the future, things that you want to happen and you're afraid might not happen, things that you're looking forward to happening, or basically anything that's not in your general vicinity and on your actual senses, your touch, your smell, your vision, your hearing, you know, your taste. You know, those things, that's the place for anxiety. If you have anxiety about anything else, that's kind of your brain acting up and rioting against you. That's you being out of your element, and that's society succeeding in doing exactly what it was built to do. But on the spiritual path, Sam, stop it. No. Spiritual path, you know, and really all paths, anything in life, people tend to want to skip right to the good part. They don't like to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Even, you know, people like watching these streams or whatever. I'm sure most people aren't probably taking it that serious. Maybe there's a couple people that are, but for most people it's just entertainment. But to the people that are taking it serious, it can be and that maybe are already involved or feel that they've already had a lot of spiritual progress, it can be a source of pride. Okay? Pride being one of the 7 deadly sins. It can be a source of addiction, you know, which is a form of gluttony, another 7 deadly sins. It can be a form of envy. You know, you're looking at someone else's progress and saying, that's what I want. You think you're just going to skip there without doing the work, but you can't. The reality is that before you do anything in the spiritual path, you got to master the basics. Because even if, not saying that the basics have to be mastered for some of the bigger things to happen, but when those bigger things happen, they eventually turn against you because you didn't master the basics. You didn't prepare yourself. You didn't have a foundation that could carry you through that. And so you really first need to, before doing anything else, just consult with a very well-known thing within religion. It's the 7 deadly sins. Identify every aspect of those basic things within yourself and destroy them. Absolutely eliminate them. You must master that first. You know, the actual words that got cut off out of my mouth was, I was saying it's hilarious when somebody will tell you that it's okay to have 1 cup of coffee every day. But yet that same person would judge somebody who woke up and had a shot of vodka or tequila first thing in the morning every single day. The same person that says, oh, it doesn't have any negative, that coffee that I have every day, it's just 1 cup, doesn't have any negative effect on me, is the same person that if they stopped drinking that coffee every day, they would miss it every day. They'd be thinking about it all morning every day, even though they're saying, oh, I don't even get headaches when I quit or whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's not bad for you. They're literally quoting shit off of Google that's literally put there by a bunch of people who are heavily invested in Starbucks and everything else. So if you can't even master your addictions, why would you expect any teacher or anybody to be able to do anything for you? You know what I'm saying? If you can't, first master your 7 deadly sins, what really do you need to focus on? You want to just skip straight to love and light and be stuck there and, let that, be your new distraction, your new addiction? Or do you want to build a foundation and create something that will last? Something that if you ever do reach that peak, that you don't just touch it, you don't just taste it, don't just get a little sniff, that you're actually able to stay there. That it doesn't cause damage to your life, to your psychology, to your mental state. That it doesn't just loop back around and aggravate everything even more that was going on before, because you still have all of these original weaknesses that have been well outlined by the 7 deadly sins. You're still angry about shit going on in politics. You're still drinking coffee every day. Maybe you smoke. Maybe maybe you're watching adult stuff and masturbating or whatever. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that on here, but whoops. In a clinical way. Whatever those things are that you haven't mastered, 100%, if you end up having major spiritual progress, those things are not going to just magically disappear. They're going to exacerbate other issues. Not to mention what happens if you do touch some of those higher states and then get pulled back down and find that you can't touch it again. Then what? You're going to feel even more empty. You're going to feel like you fucked up and lost something, that you missed your thing, but there's nothing to miss. It's just that you just never mastered the basics. You wanted to skip right to the good part. You wanted to skip to the ending. You wanted someone else to do the work for you. You wanted a magic pill. You wanted a special diet. You wanted to, go whatever. But this whole thing is like anything else. It's work. You think that it's not, I'm not saying to anyone specifically, I'm just saying people think that it's not work because you're refusing to take a job. You're refusing to take a job because you don't have fucking time for a job, because this is a 24-hour-a-day thing. This is all day, every day. And so, if anyone is dealing with, emotion or, psychological things as well, maybe you're not even on a spiritual path. Maybe you're just somebody who wants to feel better, that has issues that they want to resolve within their own psychology. The advice is still the same. Every aspect of human weakness can be tied back into the 7 deadly sins. You know, now there's 7 godly virtues as well, but we don't need to talk about those today. Because if you've not mastered the 7 deadly sins, if you've not mastered yourself, your physical self, your primal self, your, you know, your lowest self, then, you know, how do you think that you're going to manage the even much, much, much harder part of that, which is to embody the 7 godly virtues? You can't. You cannot embody the 7 godly virtues if you have not mastered the 7 deadly sins. That means you've slayed every addiction. That means that you have, you know, saying it doesn't mean that you've slayed, that you've mastered 5 of the 7 deadly sins. It doesn't mean that you mastered 6 of the 77. It means that you've mastered them all. And so, you know, it might sound like whatever that I'm preaching or this and the other, but look, if an adult film star can give up his livelihood so that he can practice semen retention, quit drinking coffee after, well, you know, I relapse on that all the time, even myself. So in some way, I'm even talking to myself. So don't think I'm you know, I'm not including myself in all this. But, you know, after 20-something years of drinking coffee, you know, smoking probably several tons of weed in my life, like all these things. But the truth is that most people fail in spirituality and just in happiness in general in life because of the 7 deadly sins. It only takes one. It only takes one to really get it. One of those sins gets its claws deep inside you. You will never be fucking happy. You might feel happiness for a moment, but it's fleeting. If you cannot master those things, your unhappiness, your discontent will always be there waiting to resurface. And so, you know, again, I'm talking to myself as well as everyone else when I say this, because, you know, before I'm everyone else's teacher, I'm my own teacher. And I don't know, this is just something that's been like stuck in my mind because I realized that whole rant, it was a much nicer rant the first time around, but when I realized nobody heard it, I kind of played it over and over and over again in my head until I realized that that this is really the only thing that needs to be taught. You know what I'm saying? If you can't master those 7 deadly sins, what right does anybody have to ask anyone else for anything? You know what I'm saying? Even yourself. What right do you have to ask yourself for something? You couldn't even master the basics. You know what I mean? And then I guess it's kind of myself. I'm going through the whole, you know, I'm been purifying, getting ready for Ramadan. And so maybe I'm a little bit in my feels and a little bit, you know, feeling my own weakness in regards to the whole coffee thing, because I started drinking coffee again. But yeah, it's like, conquer your addictions first, you know? You know, the things that make you angry, let go of those first. Let go of your wrath. Let go of your pride. Let go of your envy, you know? I mean, if, you know, even food, gluttony, that goes right there with the addiction. Like, we don't need to eat every day. And we certainly don't need to drink coffee every day. And we definitely don't need to consume nicotine every day, or weed, or THC every day. There's nothing that you need every day except for air and debatably water, but you don't even need water every day. You can survive several days without it. And if you can survive without it, you should survive without it on occasional basis, you know. But literally anything that you do every day, it's an addiction. You do it every day, it's an addiction. You know, it's gluttony. You know, even if it's work. Why do you work? Why are you working every day? Why you work so much? You know, people will say, well, because, you know, that's the way the world works, and money makes the world go round, and this and the other, and I want to provide for my family, and oh, I got, you know, they got a million different reasons. But the reality is, people work every day because of envy. People work every day because of pride. People work every day because of gluttony. People work every day because of wrath. Do you see what I'm saying? You could have survived with less. You could have provided with your family with less. You could have provided with your family with more of your time. But because people are busy trying to impress other people, trying to maintain some type of image, trying to, you know, satisfy their urges and their desires. You know, they force it, not to say that you can't be in a situation that you have to go work yourself out of. That happens all the time. That's a completely different situation. You know what I'm saying? That does happen. But for the vast majority, the 90-something percentile, that's not the case. Everything's just rooted in sin. And so, you know, if you're experiencing negative emotions of any kind, ask yourself, which sin am I guilty of? How many of them am I guilty of? Have I mastered any of these? Any of them? You gotta ask yourself that. Because without mastering the 7 deadly sins, there's no true liberation. You know, there's just crutches. There's fleeting moments. But if you can't master, then how can you embody the 7 godly virtues? Because that's what's really required for ascension, right? It's not really about the sins. The sins are what stop us from embodying the virtues. The sins are what stop us from being happy. The sins are what stop us from liberation. They don't stop us from ascension. They stop us from everything else that we need in order to do what we need to ascend, which is to embody the 7 godly virtues. Anyways, that was my whole thing. I'm having a tough day, you guys. Maybe I'm in a bad mood. I like I said, I'm working on, you know, conquering my own weaknesses, and my father's in the hospital right now, getting surgery, so kind of waiting for news there if anyone feels like praying. But But yeah, that's basically the whole thing, you know. Well, let's break this down. Prorax, or sorry, I'm going to read all the comments, but this one is the first that looked like a question. Maya says, do you think constant self-distraction, stress, self-hate, anxiety are addictions? We do it every day, 24/7. Well, kind of. Let's break this down. Constant self-distraction. Let's see, envy, greed, gluttony, wrath. Lust. So I guess it really depends what you're distracting yourself with. You know what I'm saying? You know, usually when we think of self-distraction, we think of our phones and stuff. Well, our phones feed every single one of those sins. You know what I'm saying? Stress is, you know, back to, I said earlier about work. Most people are just stressed about work or something else, or something that they want, something that they don't have, something that happened that they're afraid is going to happen. You know, it's also, you got to realize it's also the way that you're controlled by society, by the media. These are the things that your phone plays to constantly. You know, it wants you to envy the next person so that you will go to work to try to get the next obsolete thing and spend your money on it before they come out with the next new thing, just in case, you know, just to keep the cycle going. You know what I mean? There's you know, there's never an end to it. You know, they say there's the best ways to make money or is appealing to men's desires to be richer or women's desires to be more beautiful. Like, think about that. Those are the biggest businesses. You know what I mean? Self-hate. I mean, again, if you conquer all those things, you will have self-love. Believe that. Anxiety is you being out of the moment. You know, that's usually, again, what are you getting anxiety about? You know, something you don't have, something you're afraid of, something that, you know, there's just, it goes on and on. Wrong work, phones, unhealthy food, wrong mental state. Exactly. You know, you can literally be, like, it's crazy. You can literally, like, I'm making, okay, so maybe there's people that are vegetarians, this doesn't apply to them, but like, say, you know, 3-4 days on the carnivore diet, for example. You will have a full stomach, completely full, of the most nutritious, nutrient-dense thing that you can eat. You will still crave sugar. You will still feel incomplete without the carbs in your diet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they hit you from every possible direction. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like this stream was a little bit too harsh. Maybe I won't leave this one up. But, I don't know. It's like, I want to help people, but I just feel like people don't really want to help themselves. They want a quick fix. You know what I'm saying? They want a magic pill. They want to skip to the end. They want to believe that whatever they've already done was enough. know what I'm saying? But when we're talking about self-mastery, the key word is mastery. Just because it's yourself doesn't mean that it's different than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, mastery is a never-ending thing. There is no such thing as you know, no matter how much you master anything, you will always find a way to refine that, you know. And you know, it's just, you can't be healed if you won't stop taking the poison that made you sick to begin with. Whether that poison is nicotine, caffeine, THC, alcohol, sugar, you know, doesn't matter. But think about all the things I just listed. Those are all just physical things. All you got to do is stop partaking. It's so easy. But yet that's the last thing almost anyone will do. Most people will ask you for some solution to some problem. And if you ask them, be like, okay, well, what's your diet like? Do you consume sugar? Do you consume caffeine? Do you consume nicotine? Do you consume alcohol? Do you consume THC? Do you eat organic food? Do you eat junk food, processed food, preservatives? Almost everybody will end up saying yes. And the ones that say no are most likely liars. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the conversation can stop. Because if you haven't conquered just the physical, normal things, what else can anyone else do for you? If those things are conquered, then you go to the next step. You look at your mental toxins. You know what I'm saying? If you can't put your phone down, if you can't get off social media, if you can't stop watching the news, you know, then what? What can anyone do for you? It's just that all anyone can ever do is put a Band-Aid for you. They could put a spoon full of medicine in your mouth. A little honey. Hey, Anna, welcome. There's no lasting fix. There's no cure. If someone won't stop taking the poison that made them sick to begin with, the best you could do, you could be the most enlightened guru on the planet, and the most that anyone can ever do for you, the same thing that the pharmaceutical companies are fucking doing and poisoning everyone with. They'll never fucking cure anything. They just put a fucking little fix on it, a little something that helps them ignore. You can just be some fucking entertainment for somebody at that point. What the fuck, who needs enlightenment for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, master the basics first. I mean this for myself. I mean this for everybody on the planet, not just the people in this room. Like, master the basics first. If you have 1 cup of coffee every fucking day, you're addicted. If you say you're not, you're wrong. You're a fucking liar. If you tell someone else that it's okay to drink 1 cup of coffee every single day, you're literally fucking trying to bring someone else down into hell with you. I don't just mean that for coffee, any kind of substance like that, any kind of thing. Misery loves company. People love to justify their fucking weaknesses. But the truth is, if you're not willing to stop taking the poison, you can't be healed. You can't be liberated. You know what I'm saying? Even myself, like today, I thought I could never feel negative. Thought I could never feel negative. And today I feel like shit. And you know what? The last couple of days I drank coffee. Why is that? Why does suddenly, all of a sudden, I got some turmoil in my head when I just started drinking coffee? Even after feeling fucking perfect in the worst situations for over a year. Think about that. Okay, yeah, I'm having a stressful day on some, maybe it's compounding issues, but the truth is, you know, you can make all kinds of spiritual growth on the high end. You can have amazing spiritual experiences. You can even maybe realize some truths. But if you have not mastered the basics, if you've not completely purged the 7 deadly sins from yourself, it will always be a revolving door. There will always be waiting there to fucking drag you back down. And you know what I'm saying? And if you're only dealing with yourself, if you have no contact with other people, that's fine. Go through your fucking little cycle of whatever until you figure it out. The lesson will be repeated until it's learned. That's what happens. You go over this over and over and fucking over again. No matter how hard high you climb, if you don't master the basics, you get fucking dragged back down and reminded because you didn't learn the lesson. It's like I said in the other stream, every one of these realizations, every one of these things has a lesson attached to it. You will not get the next lesson until you learn the last lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I've had spiritual experience after spiritual experience after spiritual experience, and each one of them has come under the same set of situation. I get rid of all of my addictions. I get off my phone. I stop consuming all the bullshit. I get myself out into nature and I stop fucking talking. And that leads me to the next level every time. And when I fall, it's always back to the same thing. It's always back to the same fucking thing, and then it's the same fucking climb back to the top. So I'm not picking on anybody, I'm not telling you whatever. I'm self-assessing myself as I've been doing throughout this entire process. And then I'm turning it around and putting the fucking lesson out to see if anyone else gets it. But ultimately, the reason why I'm not trying to be a teacher or a guru or anything like that is because I realize that 99% of people that you come in contact with, you're really just a band-aid. You're really just a form of entertainment. You're really just a distraction. Nobody wants to put in fucking work to master the basics, which is all I do. My entire life personally revolves around mastering these basics. All of my spiritual growth has basically come from mastering the basics. Even the advanced things, the tantras, the techniques that I've come up with or had success with, I learned those by mastering the basics. Like there's nothing that this whole thing has been overcomplicated 100 times, upside down, inside out, left side, right side. And one of the worst things is the monetizers, the people that are out here trying to make a buck off selling band-aids to emotionally wounded people and calling it spirituality. It's fucking wrong. Like me, I'm not trying to put band-aids on nobody. I'm like, take the poison out of your mouth, or I got nothing else. And when I say your mouth, you know what I'm saying? I mean more than just your mouth. I mean your mind, everything. Like it's like you gotta deconstruct the system. It's not made for you to be able to escape. You can, but that was never, from its conception, it was never made for that, you know. Yeah, exactly. They sell the get rich quick scheme, but they don't sell, you know what I'm saying? The thing is that even if you get rich quick and their scheme works, they don't do the actual hard part, which is actually keeping the money. I've been rich 100 fucking times. You know what I'm saying? The reality is, you know, the people sitting at the top, like, to you, you think you're rich and compared to your past, right? Like, oh, I'm at a new high, I'm fucking rich, oh, I'm got more than my neighbors, I'm rich, this, that, and the other. But what you don't realize is that you're not rich. You're just a tree that hasn't been harvested yet. Do you know what I'm saying? You're a crop. You think you're rich, but you're just, you know, basically, to the people at the very top, you're livestock. They're fattening you up. You know what I'm saying? So that they can fucking take it from you later. You're just holding it for other people. You know what I'm saying? It's called being a bag holder. The only thing that they can't take from you, it's in there. But you gotta stop subscribing to all the bullshit. You gotta stop taking the poison. The 7 deadly sins. Otherwise, no one can help anybody. Nobody can help anybody it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Even if you have the antidote for the poison, what the fuck good does it do? You can give somebody the antidote to the poison, but if they're just gonna go back and, you know, play with snakes again, you know what I'm saying? They're just gonna go get dosed with poison again. What good does it fucking do? What's your price of antidote? You know what I mean? It's a revolving fucking door. So just master the basics. Like, forget about everything else. Stop, you know, stop chasing things. The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath one's feet. Like, if, you know what I'm saying, it can be complicated. If you've really refined yourself, you can be like, how could I, you know, you got whatever that one thing is left is really hard to conquer. You would say, fuck, you know, like, you know, I did it all, but I just, you know, I still feel greedy, or, oh, I did it all, but I still have lust inside me, or, you know what I'm saying? That's a good place to be. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I am. But you know what's a fucking really simple place to be? Is somebody with any kind of addiction or anything at all. That's why I keep going back. I mean, again, this is like my problem. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something as simple as coffee. But I see the damage that it does. I fucking sat in front, you know what I'm saying? I had a coffee earlier. I sat in front of the coffee shop and I just watched after I got mine, like as time ticked on, watching the line just climb until it's around the corner. People just lining up to take their poison. You know what I'm saying? They all know it's bad for them. Every one of them has gone on Google and said, you know, how bad is coffee for you? And they found all the, oh, coffee's great for you. It stops Alzheimer's and fucking everything else. Da, da, da. Like fucking, and they just believe that. Keep on fucking, get back in line, keep fucking drinking it. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, all those things can be translated into the 7 deadly sins. I mean, when you think of something like lust, you know, that can be for sex, but that can also be for a substance. Think of something like gluttony, that can be for food, but that can also be for, you know, an activity, or you know, hoarding things, you know, I mean, I honestly don't see anything wrong with indifference. I think that that's probably more like a godly virtue than a sin. Overconsumption, of course, is again gluttony. You know, self-deception is pride, envy, distraction, sloth. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing has changed at all. We can fucking relabel things and put different whatever, and we can, you know, try to overcomplicate things, but this is how psychology and psychiatrists and even spiritual teachers in the spiritual industry operates. They come up with new words, new things, new illnesses, new disorders, new whatever, and they got a pill that'll treat it. They don't got anything that'll cure it. They only got something that'll treat it. And the reason why is because as soon as it's cured, the money, they lose a client. This is the same in spirituality. This is the same in psychology. It's the same in all this stuff. Nobody wants to cure anything. The cure is really simple. It's 7 deadly sins. You master those and everything else falls into place. If you can't master those, stay home. There's nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mean like you specifically. I mean like anybody who's seeking anything, any kind of healing. You can't master the 7 deadly sins, like, you can't be healed. Bottom line. Not permanently. You can be bandaged. You can be treated. You can be relieved for a little while. But you can never be completely fucking healed. You know. How can you detect what is poison, what is cure? It's not an easy task in real life, especially when you are alone. I don't have a big family or the only child, so there's no source of extra information. Anything that is more than what you need is poison. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, honestly, like, whatever I'm saying now is I'm just saying it in a more direct way, but it's honestly the same thing I've always been saying. It's just remove everything from your life. You know what I'm saying? Nobody today is suffering from lack. It's a very uncommon thing, at least especially in like developed areas. Maybe there's some countries that are doing pretty harshly, but you know, and maybe there's still lacking in malnutrition and things there, but for the most part, especially people who have things like access to the internet and phones and things, we all suffer from diseases of abundance. We have too much of everything. Like, anything that can be dropped should be dropped. Anyways, I don't know. It's been it's 50 minutes. I guess that's probably all I wanted to see. Let me see, go back and see what comments I missed, because is the audio, let's see, this is National, Georgia the Jungle, sorry what you're going through, Ellen. I love that Jennifer says, I love its roots. I would also love if so many people would revisit the idea as well of do unto others, the golden rule, living right with yourself. And totally, but that's getting into the 7 godly virtues. That's the next step. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where you want to be at. You want to be embodying the 7 godly virtues. Once nothing can stop you. Once you've, you know what I'm saying, purged out the sins, you can start embracing the virtues. If you embrace even one godly virtue, just one, to truly embody just one, even something as simple and should be taken for granted as the golden rule. You can just embody one virtue like that in the lack of 7 deadly sins. Everything, I got really sick. Even when I drank tea and coffee, I still felt some connection, although I never made sense of it, just what I felt. And once I got sick, I no longer felt anything. I'm feeling much better now, but I still have not regained the unexplained connection I had before. Sickness changed me. Listening to what you have to share is fascinating. Perhaps one day I'll be able to accomplish it. Yeah. You know, there's no, you know, the thing is, most people don't even believe you if you actually accomplish the liberation. It's honestly, like, as a liberated person, I'll tell you, like, the single, you know, you have a very high tolerance for uncomfortable things as a liberated person. But one of the most annoying things that people tend to do, and they mean totally good by it, it's not a it's not any kind of negative attention at all, but just as a healed person, and it's really hard to understand this perspective if you're not liberated, but people tend to try to impose their own fears, their own feelings, their own emotions of what they think that they would be experiencing in your situation into you as a person, and they don't understand what it's like to be devoid of those emotions. And it doesn't matter how many times and how much you explain it to someone, like, they can't really understand it. They might go as far as to be conscious of the fact that you don't like it when they do that and to not do it, but deep down inside, like, not even deep down, but inside, they're still doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing. So, you know, I don't know. There's just a lot of reasons why I don't want the responsibility. I don't want to be anyone's entertainment. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want anyone to rely on me. I don't want to, it's like, you know, I know that I can go in this circle over and over and over again, and that if I took this path, it's just going to be mainly me telling people to do obvious things that they already know. I just don't want to do it. Like, I'm over it. Like, I'm happy I shared the whole journey, and I hope that there's something there for people, but, you know, it was all unnecessary, you know. All that really had to be said was this. You know what I mean? Everything else happens on its own when you just take everything away. when you're done dropping all the physical stuff, all the addictions, all the wants, you know, all the things, then you just start dropping all the mental shit. You just let go of everything. You know, but it happens naturally. It's just, you know, they've known it since forever. You know, like I said, 7 deadly sins, 7 godly virtues. Other religions have similar ways of saying it. You know, that's the Noble Eightfold Path in Buddhism, or the 10 fetters. You know, I'm sure you can make an adaptation for every thing that has something similar, but it's just nobody wants to master the basics. Everybody wants, you know, whatever. And the truth is, I was an entertainer for over a decade, and I enjoyed that entertainment. I got to do something very enjoyable while I was doing that. I don't want to be spiritual entertainment, you know, to give people false hope that they can be free of something if they're not willing to put in the work to get free of it. Like, it's serious work. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to go to work and make minimum fucking wage or whatever. Worst case scenario. It's easier to just go to work, no matter how little you make or even how much you make, than it is to heal yourself. It takes less time. You can go to work, you can make your salary or whatever in 40 hours a week. Spiritual liberation, 40 hours a week? Good luck. You gotta run it 24 hours a day. And the one day that you didn't run it's gonna set you back 3 days. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. You know, because like I said, no matter how high you fly, that one sin, that one weakness, that one thing that you told yourself it's okay, that's what's waiting to fucking drag you back down to earth. So, anyways, that was my rant. We're at 58 minutes. I'm gonna cut it off before the hour. I'm gonna walk down the hill and then I will join you guys in the Telegram chat. You can let me know what you thought of this segment here, there, okay? I love you guys all, and I'm not gonna read all the rest of I'm just not in the mood to read chat today. Wait 1 second, I just seen a interesting line of, is the meaning of life the same for animals and humans? It should be. You want to know the fastest way to find liberation is to become an animal, to live like an animal. You know what I'm saying? Literally. Because you know what? Here's the thing. You know the difference between a human and an animal? Is that the human is thinking about tomorrow. The human on the past. The animal, it learns lessons from the past, but those lessons are integrated into its life, into its everyday life. It has zero thought of the future. It is completely and totally in the moment. And guess what? If you're completely in the moment, if you are just looking around at nature around you, where you're actually at, what you're actually doing, what's really going on. I got my dog here, I got a boulder, I got some fucking bushes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Where's the room for sin in this? Am I going to envy the bush? I'm going to envy the dog? You know what I'm saying? Do I got pride with my fucking ratted hair and my fucking in the middle of nowhere with no one to fucking look at me? You know what I'm saying? Do I have desire? I got the whole fucking world at my fingertips. What could I desire? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to envy? Who am I going to envy? You know what I'm saying? Am I feeling wrathful up here? Hey, Sammy, you feel wrathful? What's pissing you off, bro? You greedy? What more do you want? You got the whole fucking world, Sammy. You got the fucking world. You got the bush. You got a fucking rock. What more do you want, bro? Do you see what I'm saying? There's no sin. Maybe fucking if I had enough chicken, if I had some chicken up here or something, Sam will be a glutton. As a matter of fact, he's been fucking crying for the last 3 days because I wouldn't feed him chicken. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? He was miserable. He's been fucking moping around in his fucking dog crate. So in some sense, maybe dogs, maybe animals and humans do have a little bit of in common in that sense. In that they can make themselves fucking miserable with just one sin. One sin can destroy even an animal's happiness. You know what I'm saying? If I feed him dog food every fucking day, the shittiest kibble, and he never fucking tastes meat, he's happy to eat kibble. He's never dissatisfied. But if I fucking feed him chicken every day like I do a lot of the times, then guess what? I feed him dog food and he fucking cries. He refuses to eat it. He'd rather sit around and be depressed in his crate. Fucking whine all day. So, is the meaning of life the same? Possibly. You know? It's just that animals, by default, succeed where we fail. Because animals don't have... I don't know, maybe they do have ego. But we construct all this shit in our fucking mind. Animal is just existing. An animal is an extension of God directly. An animal is by default what you will be when you become liberated. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Angelica, by the way. And yes, Maya, exactly. It seems like everyone, animals, except for humans, reach Zen on this planet. Welcome, Noi. Oh, Noi got the green badge. Look at you, fancy pants. The first green badge. I was having a grumpy stream today, but it was just an extension of... It was basically... Oh, fuck. Me, that was calling camera. I was just basically, in a more grumpier way, saying everything that got cut off from my stream yesterday, when the connection died out. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try. I still want to, I still want to stay connected in some level, you guys. I don't really know what to do with this whole thing. Like I said, nobody wants to take the real medicine. Like, I know it. Like that much I'm sure. Even the people who I think are the most serious about it, I don't think that they're willing to take the real medicine. And it's just, I don't know. I don't want to keep investing into something that I don't see being fruitful. You know, maybe I'll rethink this later and change my mind. I guess I've done that a few times, but I don't know. I know that if I want to actually teach this, that it has to be done in a completely different way. That what I've done so far is going to get more people lost than found. You know, and you know, a lot of my life has been based on sin. I don't necessarily regret it, because like I said, I got myself here, but I want to embody the 7 godly virtues. I don't want to embody the 7 deadly sins. Do you know what I'm saying? Even if I'm not a victim to those sins at this point, it's easy for me to be a sin for someone else, to embody a sin for someone else. Do you know what I'm saying? In many ways, I embody lust. You know, in many ways, there's occasions when I even embody wrath. There's occasions when, and there's definitely been times in the past when I embodied pride. You know what I'm saying? You know, for somebody who sees my spiritual process and my progress and wants it, I can embody envy. You know, it's just just a slippery slope, you know. Well, you know what? That was a wise comment, Maya. Maya says, Bruce, you are making a wrong conclusion. You also have limited data as I do. You are changing people's lives, no doubt. And you know what? It's a good point, because, like, for example, Angelica. Angelica's here. She's even written into the chat today. But there's a lot of people who have been following silently. And, you know, it wasn't until I was basically quitting last time that a few of them, like Angelica, decided to express themselves to me. But the thing is that there's a difference between affecting somebody's life and changing someone's life, right? If I affect somebody's life positively, that seems good. I'm happy to do that. But again, if it's not a permanent change, then it's only going to hurt worse when it reverts back, right? So, you know, I want to make positive changes in people's life. That's really what I set out to do with this whole thing. But as time goes on, I see the double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, you know, I don't want to be an addiction. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I want to do the right thing, but I just don't, like, I honestly just, it's hard for me, even like right now, like, I've been thinking for the last, like, couple days how much I want out, like, I want to, like, go back to Tulum, or you know, I've never been to Costa Rica, or like, I've been thinking a lot about Costa Rica. Like, I want to go to a place where people are embodying the journey and the path. And I want to be around other people that actually, you know what I'm saying, like understand me and what I'm going through. But what I've realized at this point is that I don't know a single person, not one. And I mean, there's a lot of people I'm close to that I've shared a lot with and that I'm whatever, but not one single person truly understands me. No matter how much they know about me. Like my emotions and my psyche and what's going on inside my head. There's not one person on the entire planet that I feel really actually understands me. And I'm not saying that there would be necessarily, there will be that going to a certain place or whatever is going to, there's going to be people there just because it's like a spiritual hub of some sort. But it's just like, I just keep thinking about that. Like, it's like I remember being the one around all the spiritual people that didn't understand them. You know what I'm saying? Didn't believe and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like part of me is just curious what that would be like from this perspective. Because it's just, I just feel very alone. And I feel that no human company can change that aloneness. That, you know, it's part of the thing that I have to accept, is that I am completely and totally fucking alone. And that I will be indefinitely. And not to say that I won't ever be around people or be in human contact, but I mean like mentally. Mentally, I am absolutely fucking alone in this world. Because there's not a single person, not one single person that understands my mind. To my knowledge, anyways. Well, I hear what you're saying, Maya, and I think that it's interesting. It's the thing is that even if it seems good now, okay, what happens if I just poof? Will it continue being good? Will the positive changes stay? Or, you know, will they just have, you know, as one person wrote me when I said I was going to quit streaming last time, am I just going to leave people at sea with no rudder? That's what one person told me. And honestly, that was one of the main reasons why I came back and started doing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just at a low today. But this is, again, part of it. You know, it's like I feel so out of my element. You know? It's like when you've been walking in the heavens for so long and then suddenly you find yourself back on the ground. You know? What's up, Nico? Fly, welcome. I don't know, why do I feel what? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going through whatever. It's like I said, I'm going through my own thing. I drank coffee for last week or so, and now I'm quitting again, and being yanked out of my my little spot, but I'm just I don't know. I feel very alone, and I feel that there's no cure to that aloneness because I don't feel understood, and it's pretty frustrating to not feel I shouldn't say frustrating, but I put so much of myself out recently. It's been part of my own process of releasing fear has been to share some of myself. I don't know if anyone's here who's actually been like a long time fan I know Zana's been here a long time, but I've always been a private person. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a totally fucking private person. Like when I was like active in the industry, I went through so much trouble to like not just conceal my whereabouts or things about myself or whatever, but to actively mislead people. Like for a decade, I lived by the code that the only way to hide information is through disinformation. And part of my release of fear has been to, be authentic, to share myself, to share my real life, to not hide my location or my thoughts or to what I look like ungroomed, you know what I'm saying? Like all these little things, like I put myself out here physically, I've put myself out here mentally, I put out my beliefs, I put out my past, I put every fucking thing that I could put out, I've put it out. And I don't feel understood at all. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying that it not encouraging me to continue. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I combine that with the fact that it's literally when I am most detached from everything that my growth happens the fastest and the most intensely. And I don't know. And I see that these devices, these phones, are the most purest evil that I can really identify. Like, not to say it's the evil, but it's the most powerful weapon of the greatest evil on this planet is these phones. I don't know. I guess I've always known the path. I've been planning the real thing since I was 22 years old. However long ago that was. I'm just, I don't know. It's like part of me wants to just say, okay, well, whatever, I discharged my karma. You know, I can just be done. But, you know, the thing is I still feel bound by it. You know, which is probably why I was able to discharge it to begin with. But I just don't know how to do this in a way that it will actually do what I want it to do, or what I mean for it to do. You know, it's hard enough to experience the frustration of slipping backwards yourself, something as simple as coffee. But as soon as you start taking on other people's process into your hands and taking responsibility for that, you open yourself up to shortcomings and setbacks and weaknesses and all these things that are not your own, outside of your own control. You can talk till you're blue in the face, and nobody will hear anything unless it's what they want to hear. You know, if they hear the part they don't want to hear, even if they know you're right, their ego just asserts itself to try to come up with a reason why you're wrong. You know, it's like when I told everyone about my relationship with Kali. All of a sudden, my students banded together to become teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much of that kind of frustration do I really want to subject myself to? And I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I guess I'm not going to make any decisions when I'm at a low point, but I did want to just share what's on my bowel. You know I'm sad, you want to give kisses. Maybe I spoke too soon. One person understands me. You understand me, but, yeah, you just want chicken. Yeah, I know you guys are still here. It's just I don't want to mislead you. You know what I'm saying? And I also don't want to torture you. And I feel that the medicine is torture. I can't help anyone without making them suffer. I'm sorry. It's just, as much as I wish, I want I would like the rules to be different. I wish that I could just, I wish I had the magic wand or whatever. I could just do the thing like the shamans do, down in Mexico. Just take a swig off some liquor and just spit it on somebody. Be like, you're healed, you're good. Like, I would like it to be like that. But the truth that I see is that suffering is the key. And, I don't know if I really want to, I've never been a sadist, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to embody the pharmaceutical, I'm not trying to be a band-aid. But there's a reason why, it's like, there's a term in Buddhism called the Bodhisattva, right? And this is somebody who is attained enlightenment but delays Nirvana so that they can teach others and help others. I'm all for it. I mean, I want to help everybody. I want to teach everybody. But delaying Nirvana is like, it's just such a big price. And maybe it sounds, greedy to say, I don't know if it's equal. And to be honest, if I thought that I would have success in my teaching, I wouldn't even have anything to think about at all. I would delay Nirvana indefinitely. I would make any sacrifice to share that. And it's not even coming from a lack of confidence. I have more confidence, honestly, at this moment than I've ever had. It's just, I just don't see a fruitful path, I see, a lot of frustration. Thank you, Fly502. Yeah, life's not that easy. But when somebody's asking you, how do I cure my anxiety? How do I fix my anxiety? It takes a very hard person to prescribe them even more suffering as a cure. But in reality, that's what gets it done. That's what makes it happen. You know, you get, this is not the key to spiritual growth is not love and light. You know, love and light is a symptom of, or is an experience that comes to teach you something. But liberation, and let me also further say, love and light does not bring you liberation. You know, it's the shadow that brings you liberation. It's doing the hard things that brings you liberation. It's sacrifice that brings you liberation. It's purification that brings you liberation. It's all the things that nobody wants to do that brings you liberation. Love and light is an amazing experience. It teaches you so much, but it doesn't free you. Anyways, I guess this ended up going longer than I said. Sorry if I missed anyone's comments and stuff. I wasn't really into the comments thing today. I just got myself started on the last stream, and I've been kind of dwelling on that for the last couple of days, and it just kind of got a more, I guess, it just came out differently because I'm in a different mood than usual today, but maybe it was something that somebody needed. Anyways, I'm gonna go, you guys. Talk to you next time.